Okay, so phase 4, what is it?
Crank your cash flow. This is a fun one.
Excellent. And I always love the paradox.
The paradox is the one.
What have we got?
Shortcuts save time some of the time.
Oh, that's a goodie.
Yeah.
That's such a goodie. I guess that what this is all about is not trying to skip the mastery, right?
Skip the part. Yep.
And because mastery is where the real leverage is in mastery. And the world, the market will pay for mastery. Absolutely. And so trying to skip the learning, the education and the skills, the experience and just the time, the practice is not going to achieve mastery. So once we accept that mastery is essential, then and people will pay for mastery. And look at, we just have to look around and see where we do all the time, right? Yeah. I pay my accountant because he knows more than me. I pay my dentist because she knows more than me. She can do things that I can't. She's mastered things that I haven't. And we send our kids to school to be educated by teachers because they know how to teach kids.
Yeah.
So there's example after example in the world, yet so many people are trying to skip the mastery and they get to a point where it's hard, it feels hard. Of course it feels hard as we're learning something new. Yeah. Until we achieve mastery, in fact, it feels hard. And they take that hardness, that feeling of resistance as a sign to try and find something that must be easier.
To change directions.
Yeah.
To go, well, this can't be it, something else. And every time we stop and change directions, we cut out on that mastery every time. I think we said this last week. Remember we were saying, imagine if you went to university as part of mastery in that for 4 years to learn something that you had no clue about to then being able to crack someone's neck. There's some mastery in that. You can't just, wake up and do it. I hope not. Might not end well.
No, exactly. But, you might not be around.
Yeah, but imagine you only did it for 1 year. And then the next year you're like, well, I'm gonna go learn how to be an electrician, but just for 1 year. And then the next year, okay, well, maybe I'll be a doctor, but I'll just 1 year will I learn that. And then the next year, a lawyer, 1 year. We can't possibly...
At the end of 4 years.
Yeah, what have we mastered?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the next question becomes, so this is a question that I started asking, was, well, what do I need to master? And what will that experience actually look like? Which is the expectations that come in again.
So the journey of mastery has a few different steps, and I think understanding those steps helps us to see where we are on the path to mastery. And we often hear that it takes 10,000 hours to master something. I remember again my university degree, which technically I don't even use anymore. I'm not a physiotherapist anymore, but it had so many great learnings in other ways. And one was that I remember, 6 months in, I was just learning what the arm bone was called, but also just starting to feel that slowly increasing feeling of knowledge and competence.
Bit by bit.
And then getting to the end of 4 years, getting awarded the degree that says, yes, now you're allowed to go and practice. See? Now you're allowed to start practicing. I remember the first day of work and I was so nervous, and I was up all night, and I knew that one patient had a shoulder pain and one patient had a knee pain. And so I'd gone through and I'd made a big list of all the tests I was going to perform on that patient, all the questions I was going to ask. It felt so hard. And I felt like I was swimming and drowning and didn't really know what I was doing, and hoping and praying that I did the right thing, said the right thing and all of that. And fast forward 5 years, and having done those 10,000 hours, and there's no need to, it's just all basically automated. It feels so easy. I didn't need to ask as many questions. I didn't need to perform as many tests to diagnose and then to offer the right treatment plan, which I just knew with confidence that was going to be what they needed.
And that's mastery.
And that's it.
So what it has me thinking of, because what can stop us a lot is, and it's actually just us kind of sabotaging and coming up and saying, well, I'm not good at that. I'm not, I can't do that. It's simply you haven't yet mastered it, because every time someone says that to me, I'm like, well, how many times have you done it? Say if it's I kind of stepped into sales roles, and at first, I didn't even want to do sales. I had this really bad idea of what sales was, and I had to be taught. it. But I couldn't say after 1 week and 5 meetings, well, I'm not good at that. Because there's not enough data to prove that. There's not enough time invested to prove that yet.
Yeah.
And that comes down to mastery, is you can't shortcut time.
Yeah.
Right? Time works in a couple of ways. You have to do as much as you can in the time that you have, but you can't speed up what that mastery is going to look like and what that's going to take.
And if you look at all the successful people in the world, nearly all of them are currently in the process of learning to master a new skill.
Yeah.
They just put themselves in that situation. Whereas people who are not really going as far or achieving as much are avoiding that situation. And it always makes me think of when I'm riding, and I've ridden horses all my life, but learning to ride with specific skills or in a specific style. And when I'm with the instructor who's years ahead of me, I never finish that riding lesson feeling good about where I'm at. It's like, oh my gosh, there's still so much I need to learn, there's still so much I don't know, and that was just, it felt so hard, it felt so challenging. But it's being able to embrace that and just to go, oh, that's good, that means I'm going to improve. Because I did that hard thing, that means I'm going to improve. Because if we keep looking for the easy, if we keep looking for the ease, the path, the shortcut, the easy way, the faster way, we're skipping the challenge that helps us to grow stronger, to become masterful.
So let's also talk about, when we talk about crank your cash flow, and a lot of people don't link these things together, right? You being a physio. And then we ask the question, well, what do I really need to master? It's like, no matter what it is, what your business is, or what it ends up being, or what you step into, or like what your skill set is and that we put out into the world, no matter what it is, as a physio, you solved problems. You went searching for them. It's like, where's the gap? Where is someone here? Where do they need to be? What pain are they feeling? And well, what pain do I release, right? Well, what ease do I give them? And by doing that, this is what so many people don't understand, is at its essence, that is sales. Sales is the highest paid skill in the world. So it'd be smart to learn it. That's what I said to myself. I'm like, well, Nic, it'd be kind of smart to learn this skill. And then change how we actually see this skill. Because I don't think people connect to that often. Is that you as a physio, that's what you were doing. You were just solving problems.
Absolutely. And remember to be on the right-hand side of the cash flow quadrant, to be leveraging, to be in business. So it's essentially business, right? And leveraging systems and other people's time so that we have enough money to invest, and then we can leverage money. But we need the extra money first so that we can invest. So business is the only way to create more than trading time for money type of income. Every single business in the world, like no one can argue with this, only exists because of sales. And is only as good as, only as successful as level of skill in sales of themselves and their team. And the people that work there. So once you realize that, you go, okay, if I really want to crank this life, if I really want to achieve my dreams, I got to get good at sales.
Learn that skill. Like when we learn that skill, we have the ability to earn income anywhere, but also at any time, in any situation. Like that's how you can have an income for life, but also, as you said, that's how you crank your income. That's how you crank your life. That's how you crank your results, is mastering that skill.
And one day I said to myself, I don't like sales. And I think that just comes from having been in a position of feeling pushed to buy something.
Bad experience.
Or buying something and getting home and going, oh, I didn't really want that. And you realize you got sold. And it's just a yucky feeling. And then wanting to resist the whole, well, no, I'm not doing sales.
I don't want to be that person. I don't want to make people feel like that.
And as you said, then I realized, well, I've been selling my whole career. And most people are. And I thought, well, what if I, instead of telling myself I don't like sales, what if I told myself a different story? And I said, what if I could learn to love sales? What if I could change the way I'm thinking about it, change the stories I'm telling myself about what it means to a different story, which meant that then I can embrace sales. And that's what I did. And more money started to flow into my life.
So cool.